Welcome back to Force Education. This is Zed. You want to know more about the Ideanomics link with blockchain? Watch it to the end. Let's jump right into this one. So Ideanomics, IDX, I've covered this one multiple times before. You'll find it in the description below. Even when a lot of people had hate for it, around $1 back, and then jumped right up to $5. But for here, we're not doing any pumping or anything. I'm giving you just an update on the latest news. So what we're seeing here in under Ideanomics portfolio is both EV and fintech. And the question here that I do have for them, and I'll be trying to find that answer, so subscribe if you'd like to get the answer, because I'm in talks with their investor relations to get a bit more of a disclosure regarding the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology that they did dabble with previously. And I'll show you what I'm referring to later on. So for Ideanomics, SEC filings have been a bit quiet since the last time, and the next major thing coming up is their earnings. And so for the earnings, we need to look at their previous earnings. And luckily for us, we have Q3 and Q2. And if you were to look into the 2020 year-to-date deliveries for Q1, Q2, Q3, we see a really nice increase from 2020. And what we're looking at for Q4 2020, we might actually expect a bit more of growth in terms of the units delivered. And Q4 activities, in terms of this growth that we're seeing, this might actually really expand into Q4, and we start seeing even the revenues. So from Q2 to Q3, we saw almost double. So we might actually see for Q4, we continue to see this growth. And so for 2020, we already know it's going to be a lot better than 2019. And again, a big part of this one here is the question regarding, well, their entire business has changed, thus their operations will continue to be a little bit different. So for the revenues, Q3 2019, you're looking at 3.1 mil. Q3 2020, you're looking at 10.6 mil. Q2 was 4.7. So we start expecting that the next revenue for Q4 will perhaps be a little bit higher. And every presentation, every quarter, they do tease us with a bit more information. Something, well, I know they're around 13 presentation slides, but they will give us a bit more updates regarding everything else, whether it's highlights recently with the company, etc. So it's definitely something to look at for the end of the month. And the reason why I said for the end of the month is because we have two things happening. On March 25th, they're presenting into the Colliers Spring Alternative Transportation Conference. Now, usually these things aren't important at all, and I'll continue keeping them as non-important. Although for Q4 2020 earnings, this is happening on March 31st, 2021, and they will be released at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by a conference 30 minutes after that. So I like the kind of, there's no gaps overnight, and usually the overnight gaps usually dilutes kind of the news and doesn't really push it towards the edge. But anyway, we kind of covered this earnings now. In terms of the latest news, we don't have anything new regarding that, but here's one thing. So you already looked at divisions. You saw Ideanomics Mobility and Ideanomics Capital. And take a look into this one here. This is blockchain, and the way you get to it is ideanomics.com/divisions/blockchain. Very similar towards the Ideanomics Mobility, just change Ideanomics Mobility to blockchain. And we're seeing this page that they did have regarding blockchain. It says blockchain has the potential to change the way we trust in business, and they do talk regarding, I believe this was I think 2019, 7+ billion people, but the reason why I'm saying 2019 is because they say by 2020 the world will have 50 billion smart devices we will be expected to trust. And so it looks like they had previously interest in blockchain, and the question comes in, are they going to be interested in it again? Do they have any plans to dabble back in it? Because this page is hidden, well, from the actual website, but I was able to find it. So the question is, when will we hear anything about cryptocurrency interest from Ideanomics? And this would be massive. And the reason why I'm saying it's going to be massive is because we already have this one as somewhat of an EV play, somewhat as a fintech play. And in order to get a perfect trio, add cryptocurrency. And then that will bring Ideanomics to whole new levels of intrinsic levels. I'm talking about intrinsic levels because price over book for these kind of stocks are usually multiples of what they are actually worth. But the SP 500 average is around 4.75, I believe, or 425, something like that. So Ideanomics institutional buyers seem to be loving this one recently, but nothing going on in the recent history except for one thing. Blackstone Alternative Investment Fund, they opened negative 74,000 shares, which means they're shorting this stock. Around $147,000 put on the line. So I'm just wondering, it would be very much of a shame if they lose on their shorts, because apparently a lot of people love going after shorts. Anyway, insiders, we're not seeing much going on. So the main aspect of this one here is to try to get a grasp a little regarding the price over book. That's a little bit higher. This earnings would be able to give us a better perspective on the price over sales, and we're able to hear perhaps later on in the future regarding cryptocurrency, their interest at least on it, because we do see that the blockchain division page do exist. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, make sure to drop a subscribe, but we're going to go on now towards technical analysis. And now on towards the technical analysis here with Ideanomics, and what we see on a 1 week perspective is that there's something called here a trading action zone between the 10 SMA and the 30 EMA, and this is between 364 and 253, and this is where positive reversals are most likely to occur, and so keep an eye on this range. In terms of willing percent R, it is coming on towards the oversold part, and in terms of the MACD, what we're seeing is a negative reversal here towards the negative, and that's a dangerous thing. But momentum is just above zero, so we need to look, well, is it going to start accumulating now? So we need to look perhaps into a 1 day perspective. And from there on, we see, yes, it's trading sideways, it's in an accumulation zone, and that's a good thing, but we need to worry about the supports and resistances. And for this, we need to look into the moving average bands, and we see one thing. It doesn't respect the moving average band, so we're going to ignore it. We're not going to waste time with that. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both showing, hey, it is very potentially possible for this one to see accumulation. And on the Fibonacci retracements, we see a significant support currently sitting at 290, following 228, following 151. Significant resistances are 352, 440, and 553. What we're going to do quickly here is draw price line actions to see where the significant points are. And I would say 293 is a very strong one, following 270, and in that range 261, so 261 to 270. And then we drop just a little towards 198, and then going down to 175, and then really I doubt it ever hits this back 168. Now, in terms of significant resistances, what we're seeing here is there's a strong resistance line somewhere around the 343. Above there, around 384, and above there, we're looking at 424, and then up to 454, and then we hit the $5. It comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? Well, Ideanomics is working on intrinsic value, and if they do go ahead and go into diversification for the cryptocurrency and pull ahead their plans, I think they would be a very good investment for the long run, especially for a company that turn around and change almost everything they work with or they work for into this fintech EV bubble. It is quite interesting, and I'm very excited to see their earnings and what they have in plan. It's one of these companies that at first people don't believe in, but then they get around and they understand a little bit of structure, or interestingly, it has been sometimes the opposite, where people believed in it at the start and then they sold somewhere around here, and now they're upset that they didn't sell around $5. Hey, and this is the question is, are you trading? Are you trying to time the market? Because this is harder to do than investing. Find a stock that you like, a stock that you believe in, and keep your money there. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. Have a wonderful day.